And I'm going to bring also the open body, which is something like this, where you can see the interior of the car. Because a lot of the building experience is to create all the functions that are packed inside, and they are done in a way that they are really compact and really like packed in there, and you really almost don't see them, unfortunately, after you finish building. But what you can do is to open some of the parts of the car, like the roof that you can remove. You can open the rear compartment, where you can then see the engine, so the V12 engine with the piston that moves when you push the car on the table. The front can open as well, the front hood. But yeah, the car is packed with a lot of functions, and also the doors can open. And it's not like a scissors, it's like, I think it's like butterfly mechanism.
Yes.
If it's correct. And then you have this is actually a very sophisticated build, and the designer Uwe Bauer had I think a lot of headaches to make sure that this car is being approved, and also by LEGO, but also by Ferrari, because we have also quality standard that we need to follow when we create a LEGO model. For it doesn't matter which model, all LEGO model go through that quality assessment, and this is something that we need to be able to have the right stability. For example, in the LEGO Technic model, you don't want to play with the model and it start breaking and falling apart. So all the stability is super important, and the challenge with this car is that the roof is not there. So because the roof is missing, and normally this is what you can use to create a lot of with the A-pillar, you can create a lot of stability and structure around the seats and the cockpit. But in that particular case, we had to find a new alternative, new ways of building, finding a way to make it super stable without that advantage of having the structural roof on top. So one big challenge on this one, and then also the shape. I mean, this car is insane. It's like extremely organic, and it's shapes that you don't really see being used with LEGO, because our elements are a bit more like squared pieces and not so much organic. So it has been also like a need for us to create new parts. We try many variations, many iterations before we decide to create a new part, but at some point you just realize that there's no other way that we need to create a new element. It also goes for the rims, for example, because a rim we want to create the rim as close and as identical as the real car, but we cannot make it with LEGO pieces, so it won't be stable. So we create a new part for that. We create a new system for the suspension. Then we create new shaping elements. And then this is parts that we create together with the design team here in LEGO, that we make sure that this is not just gonna be used for this particular model. All the parts, all the elements that we create, we want to use them in the rest of the assortment as much as possible, and making so we make sure when we design these new parts that they fall into this we call it the grid, so it matches the LEGO measurements, and they fit together with the rest of the pieces that we have here at LEGO. So you can use this new parts with old and existing parts, but also like from previous generations of LEGO model, you can use them together still. They still all work together, which is quite nice, because with this same elements and a few new parts, you can just create anything you want, basically anything with LEGO.
Is it harder to build a vehicle like that Ferrari than to build a more conventional, smaller LEGO?
Yes, I think because this one is so big that you need much more time also to create copies, to create a new model, to create a new shape. So when you design a model, you don't get with the final shape right away. You need a year and a half, almost 2 years of development of creating the shape, because it takes more time to build. It's also much more complex, and all the functions that we have inside. This one has a 8-speed sequential gearbox with a paddle shifting mechanism. So also that takes a lot of time to develop, to create, to integrate into the model, and to make sure it fits in there, because sometimes you just put all the functions that you want, but they are becoming way too big and takes too much space, and it doesn't work with the shapes of the car. So this is like a lot of rebuild, a lot of rework, and finding new ways of building. And yeah, it takes a lot of time. So if you compare to a smaller vehicle like for example, the Ford Mustang we have here, this is, I think, 2-3 months maybe development time, and we have something that we really liked. And 2 years ago, we launched the new series of the Monster Truck, Monster Jam series, the putbacks. And this is probably 2 months development time. Yeah, this one is going down to 2 years at least.
Wow, incredible.
A lot of people involved for either the functions, the testing, the mechanics, the packaging, and then creating a new experience, a new packaging as well.
You're creating a car. I mean, you are literally creating as an automaker would do. You are creating something that is a living, breathing mechanism.
It's very similar process. Yeah, I think so. And also having the step, when we create the step, we try to create them almost the same process as they will do in the factory when they assemble the real car. We talk to the design team and we try to make sure that they can share this information with us also quite early in the process. So whenever we can, we try to recreate that. We are doing that also already with I think with the Porsche GT3 RS that we launched a few years ago. And then we feel like this is so cool. If we can do that, we should continue doing that. And we did that also on the Bugatti with the marriage process, when the front and the rear is separated in 2 parts, and then you assemble both front and rear. And they do exactly the same in the atelier, in the factory in Morzheim in France, when they put the Bugatti Chiron together. Same with the Lamborghini Sian that we launched 2 years ago, and now this one, the Ferrari, we tried the same process to create identical process in a way, as close as possible to what they do in the factory in Ferrari. And also with behind me, you can see the BMW 1/5 scale motorcycle. It's also the same, and we even made a stand that they have also that in the assembly line. They have a specific stand for the bikes, and they put the chassis and the structure on that, and then it moves in the factory and then in the assembly line. So the designer wanted to create the same experience, creating that stand. First, you have to build that, and then you start building your bike on that stand, like if you were in the factory line, assembly line, which is quite cool. Yeah, it puts you in the skin of these people that assembling and designing the car.